I think it's important to note how we define inclusion. Inclusion is everybody getting what they need. The whole purpose of Elizabeth Academy was to have a place where students of all different abilities and backgrounds can come together to learn and have a community. We start with infants and go all the way up through high school. Our philosophy and our method is based upon looking at the whole child, meeting the children where they are, and really understanding their development. Montessori is both a method and a philosophy that Dr. Maria Montessori developed. She really changed the way people look at children and education.
All of the environment is set up for this beautiful collaboration between like fine motor skills and academics and child-led activities, and it's just a really cool model.
Working on physical therapy in a Montessori setting is just more natural and more child-led and more individualized and more practical and motivating for the kiddos too.
Montessori is an inclusive philosophy. There's a lot of focus on seeing people having value in every person, recognizing the human aspect of all of us, and having an appreciation not only for the things that bring us together, but for our differences.
Inclusion doesn't mean shoving everybody into a room and teaching them the same thing. Yes, they're going to access the same curriculum, but I'm going to make sure that each kid individually has exactly what they need. How do you engage a kid who may be on the autism spectrum? How do you engage a kid who has Down syndrome?
The rich side, right? The west side is typically the poor side.
What about in The Lion King 2? What were the two groups? Raise your hand. Yes.
How do you make a lesson more fun, more inclusive?
What is special is that you have people who have different expertise and you're coming together and you're trying to learn from one another.
Being in a collaborative environment is my favorite thing about being at Elizabeth Academy. As an occupational therapist, I don't have a magic wand to just do an activity and fix a child. Within this 30 minutes that I get to see a child, I get to then teach this team of educators, and we're able to see this continuum of care for the child.
We build in collaborative time during our week where the therapists on a rotating basis can meet with the classroom teams, talk about individual students.
Yeah, so we're talking about that in history today because they jumped right over the first step, which was to make it out.
The teachers can ask questions, the therapists can model or coach the teachers or give suggestions.
Personally, I think I have the best job in the world, and to be able to come in here and work so closely with the teachers, I can come in and really be part of the team. It's really all of us together.
Vote. That's right, you were to vote.
And then the more we collaborate with the teachers and the other special educators, the more we can enhance each student's learning.
We're here for every child in the classroom to provide the adaptations and modifications and support through our specialized lenses of OT, PT, speech, music, behavior, across the spectrum of neurotypical and neurodiversive and everything in between.
I am a music therapist, a certified music therapist, and a licensed K-12 music educator. Music can activate all parts of the brain, which is why it's so powerful and so unique. Music therapy is really useful in the inclusive side and also meshes really well with Montessori philosophy, because in music therapy we take the student's lead, we meet them where they're at, so then we can achieve these goals that we have for them.
The students get to see their teachers working together and, collaborating and working through issues, and they just see everyone as part of a team. And that's kind of what we try to model here for our students.
It's a cool thing to just be able to bounce ideas off of each other when you have very different trainings and areas of expertise.
The more information that you can pull from other people, the better. And I think showing kids that they can collaborate and grow is really neat.
An occupational therapist came in as well as the physical therapist, and they observed my student who has special needs. She sees that he needs to work with his fine motor skills, so we grabbed an ice tray and some little pom-poms and showed him to put the little pom-poms inside the tray. It's still fun. He's still included in the classroom. His friends were there watching. They were playing with him. You know, we worked together instead of going outside of the classroom.
I've never been around a group of kids that is so good at self-advocacy. Like, they're constantly, like Sophia said, coming up to any teacher and just being like, hey, I need help with this.
Really, the students do see their teachers as collaborators, so they know that they can come up to a teacher and let them know, that activity, like, that was really hard for me, or I feel really stressed out by this assignment, and we can actually modify it based on that. In a world that I think kind of is becoming more and more disconnected, you see a lot of connection here.
Inclusion is the coming together and the joining of the Montessori philosophy with special education and therapies.
All of us do dream of a day when we could share a lot of what we're doing and say this is how it works in a public school setting, in a charter school setting, in any other setting. This is how you can do what we're doing.
Imagination does not become great until human beings, given the strength and courage, use it to create.